Welcome friends, today I'll show you how to make a lovely Gothic skull sconce. Most of the materials can be bought at the Dollar Tree. I have a candle that is a floating candle that you can turn on with a wand. You can also find emergency candles in the hardware section at the Dollar Tree. We need a plastic skull like this. We need a cotton fabric, like really thin, kind of like a old sheet, or a t-shirt. T-shirt's a little harder to work with. The thinner the better. Please stay away from satin. This is how the satin one turned out. It didn't work at all. And you want an 8x10 canvas that you can get at the Dollar Tree. It doesn't have to be black, it can be white. But I like the canvases because if you want, you could cut out a hole in the back and you could stick a light in. I could even put some lights in the eyes if I wanted to. The first thing I want to do is when I get a skull, I want to cut out the eyes, the nose, and a little bit on the back just so it's going to sit more flat. I cut out a hole in the top so that my candle fits in like this. I used a utility knife to cut out the plastic. Now I'm ready to cut out the fabric and to glue on the skull to the canvas. The type of glue I like to use the most is Fabri-Tac glue from Beacon. I'm just going to put a little glue right here on the edge. You could use a different type of glue too. It could be hot glue gun. And then I'm going to center my skull. This will dry in about 15 minutes. Now for the material, I'm thinking about cutting along the seams here. So I have two pieces. I'll be back after I cut it out. I think I can get by with one section here. So I'm going to cut right here with scissors. Okay, now I'm ready to set up outside to show you the next part. I have a bowl of water. I recommend using plastic. It's a lot easier to remove the plaster off of plastic. I also have another bowl of water so I can keep my hands clean and clean off my brush. And I have a bowl that I'm going to mix my mixture in. And then my plaster, I bought a bag of it and I placed it in a container like this so it's easy to pour. Yes. And then I have paper towels to clean up. Well, this is not necessary. I'm applying Mod Podge to the top to hold the material in place. Here's my bowl. I'm going to pour my plaster in. I really don't need that much. And it's not like you're making a plaster cast or something. You're using a lot less plaster. So the ratio is basically 1 to 1.5. 1 cup of plaster and 1.5 cups of water. And that's a rough estimate. So I'll take my water here and pour it in. And I'm just going to use my hands so I can kind of get a feel for the mixture. I want it to be a little bit more milkshake-like, and this seems a little too watery, so I'm going to add a little bit more plaster. Yeah, I like it a little bit more thicker, a little bit thinner than a milkshake. So I have this mixed up. It's pretty thin there. And I'm just going to dip my cloth in here, my pillowcase. Get it completely saturated front and back. You really don't need to put the Mod Podge on if you're coating it front and back. I'm just going to drape it over the top. And I want to make sure I have enough at the top and the sides. I think I want more at the top here. Okay, so I have this. I actually had this a little thick, but that's okay because I like it thick, especially for Halloween. And now I'm just going to take my brush, the end of it, okay, and press this in so I can start to get my folds, and I can move this around a little bit. The Mod Podge creates a rougher surface and it's easier to apply than a really smooth surface. So I have this in and I can start to plan out my design. And we'll be able to get this a little bit thicker and stuff in a little bit once this mixture over here starts to thicken up. This is just the initial part. Now I'm going to start to smooth this down. And I like to go here, 2 folds here, and come out from the eyes and make some folds, and then make it look like the neck is straining. I'm going to take this, is to prop this up, so that way the sides can hang down, and if you have something to clamp it on, I have clothespins, but I can clamp it underneath like this. All of the supplies will be at the end of the video. I'll have optional ideas as well as the main materials. So here's this. Now I'm going to start to form this. Well, I want to stretch this out. I'll make a hole here later. See if I can get some more folds in here. So while I'm working on this, I can come back in with the Plaster Paris water and a brush, and I can thicken this up a little bit and get out some of the wrinkles as I'm working with it. This part up here. So that's more strained right there. Let's say I do the bottom here. The sides I'm not so concerned about, but if I want this more tight, I can do it like this. This will start to weight it down too. So I'm going to turn this off and I'll come back after I work with it for a little bit. You can see that this is starting to set. It sets up very quickly, so you do want to work with it. Yeah, you don't want to walk away from it. And now it's starting to hold the shape right in here more, and if I can start to get more detail. And it helps to kind of put my finger in here to hold it down when I'm working on the bone structure. Now my mixture is a little thick, so if I were trying to make something more pretty, I would have it then. But I'm making more of a grave site type feel where it looks more corroded. So I'm allowing for some of the imperfections here. Because it's watered down, you can work with the Plaster Paris longer than if you're pouring it into a mold. And now I'm going to start to work on the teeth here. Let's see if I can get that tooth in there more. Kind of like that wrinkle there. It doesn't have to be the same on both sides. My hole. Yeah. So I like to get the structure down here more too. So I'm just finding the size of the bone right here, and I want to get the cavities, the holes that would be right down here to really get it to. I'm going to get the edges here too and start to pull that down. And I'm just going to let it stay draped like this. This is drying fairly quickly. It could take up to a full day for it to dry. It's a lot easier to work with once it starts to dry a little bit. After it dries, you can sand this down a little bit. Keep pressing down to get your details. Want the bone structure up here, the side right here. Yeah, oh, that's cool. This is looking nice now. You can use your finger to smooth over it too to fill for any bumps that you might want to get rid of. I do that a lot too. And I'm just going to continue to work on this a little bit more, but this is basically it. At this point, it's all dry and it looks awesome. On the back side here, I can trim it. So you just kind of cut through like this. You could staple it with a staple gun on the back side, or just use the fabric tack glue and just run it across the edge and stretch it back. When I turn it over, it can still dry. Now I'm going to paint it with black acrylic paint, so I fill this up with some water because it'll absorb a lot. I'm using acrylic 2 paint because I have quite a bit of it, and I'll just mix this up. And I'll paint the whole thing with black. Okay, this just drapes in here, so it works really well. Just to paint it and let it drip inside. And I painted the back of the skull a little bit, so it kind of blends in. I like to use the terracotta folk art paints And I'll start off with the cabra moss, and I'm just going to dry brush it on, which means I'm not going to dip in water this time like I did the first layer. I'm just letting some of the black show through underneath and just building it up a little bit, going back and forth like this. I'm switching from the cabra moss to the cool concrete. I can blend the colors together too if I desire. For the last little touch, I like to use water and black alcohol ink. You can use black watered down acrylic paint as well. This will help age it a bit. And I'm thinking specifically of Highgate Cemetery in a section of London. It's about 34 minutes from downtown. You can take the tube to get there. You can check online to see other beautiful sculptures. It's a reminder of what cemeteries look like during the Victorian era, and it's very Gothic, very beautiful, lots of moss and greenery everywhere. A lot of famous people have been buried there, including Karl Marx, and in another section, George Michael's, under a different name though, so you'd want to look up his name if you wanted to check that out. If you live in Chicago, another great cemetery is Graceland Cemetery on Irving Park Road. There are beautiful sculptures that date back to the Victorian era there as well. It's almost time to add the candle and light this baby up. And here's the final spooky project. Woohoo! Here's a list of materials, plus some optional materials. Most of our materials, including the plastic skull, were bought at the Dollar Tree. Cheers and happy hauntings!